Welcome to excelbluecell.com, where you can test your Excel by solving for the blue cell. This is tutorial number 1, and what we're going to try to do is solve for the blue cell, identifying the quarterly purchases displayed in the raw data table by quarter and by department. There are two ways of doing it. Actually, there are many more ways, but we're going to show you two ways of doing it. One way is going to be the intermediate level way, in which case we can use the green cell to help us solve for the blue cells. And the second way, we're going to show you how you can solve the problem by only using the blue cells. And that is the advanced level way. So to start off the intermediate level way, the first thing we have to do is we have to concatenate purchasing with quarter 1, and the logic is that we want to identify the department and the quarter, concatenate it here, identify the department and the quarter, and concatenating the sales here. And once we have that, we can compare the two, and by allowing us to compare the two, we will be able to actually transport the purchases amounts over here using the Sumif function. And I will guide you and show you exactly how to get it done. So as I said, you concatenate the department and the quarter, you copy it all the way down, and then you do the exact same thing over here. So we have in the first cell here, you have purchasing and you have Q1. Now, when you do it here, because you have the quarters over here and you have the departments going down, and you have to copy and paste the formula all the way to the right and all the way down, you have to make sure they're using the right absolute references. And that gets a little bit tricky, but it's also, this is a great exercise actually to practice and make sure that you understand exactly how absolute references work. So the way they work is, in the first case here, you have H31. You want to make sure that when you paste this formula over to the right, you want to make sure that H31, you want to make sure that purchasing stays intact. Whereas if you were to copy and paste the formula here, you want purchasing to change here with finance, change to technology, and then change to HR. So in order to allow that to happen, you want to make sure that when you paste it to the right, the formula, you want to make sure that that the reference cell remains on column H. For that, you put the absolute reference sign, which is the $sign. And if we copy and paste, you will see that the purchasing does in fact stay in place, which is what we're trying to accomplish. The next thing you want to do is do the same thing for I-30, but in this case, you want to make sure that it always stays on Q1, so it always stays on row 30. So for that, you want to put a $sign beside the 30. So now we'll paste it over here again, and we'll paste it down, and we have the proper concatenation. And now that we have that, we can actually compare each cell over here to information over here, and which allows us to use the Sumif function to try to bring over the purchase totals. So let's type in the Sumif function. It's asking for the range, so we're using this as the range, and then it's asking for the criteria, which is exactly what we've established over here. So we're just gonna use that and put a comma, and then it's asking for the sum range, which is the information we're trying to sum up, which is the purchases. So now that we've done that, you can see that the answer for purchases, Q1 is 2447. So just to do a quick spot check, you can see there's purchasing quarter one here, there's also purchasing quarter one here, and those are the only two. And if we were to add them up, they actually do equal 2447, which means that it seems that we have the right formula in place. But we also want to make sure that for the ranges that we reference, we want to make sure they stay intact when we copy and paste this formula down and sideways. So we're going to put a $sign for the ranges. And now that we have that, we should be able to copy this formula and paste it all the way. And you can see that we actually do have the correct answer. And you can see that we have used the green cells and completed them, and therefore we're at the intermediate level. Now let's try to answer the same problem, having the same values here, but doing it in a way where we don't have to use the green cells. And for that, we're going to use something we call the array function. So the way the array function is going to work is we are going to type equals sum, open bracket, and we want to say that purchasing equals this range, and we get a 1. If we get a 1, it means that it found purchasing within this range. If it did not find it, we would be getting a 0 instead. So still within the sum function, so I'm going to put this here in brackets, and still within the sum function, we want to multiply this answer, this 1, by the quarter, which we're also trying to find it within the range here. And because Q1 is over here, we should be getting another 1 for this answer, and I'm going to put an equal there, not a comma, and put that in brackets as well. So then we're going to have 1 times 1, which should still be a 1. Here we go, which means that it found the purchasing department in here, and it found the quarter one in here. And then the final thing that we want to do, still within the sum function, is we want to multiply it by the purchases range, and we get 2312. The reason we get 2312 and not the correct answer, which we got when we first attempted it using the Sumif function, is because the array functions is not activated. And if the array function is not activated, you will only find the first instance of purchasing quarter one, which is 2312. To activate the array function, you want to put the cursor in the function screen, and you want to click Shift Control Enter, and you can see that that puts in those little squiggly brackets, and that means that the array function has been activated. Now we still have to put the dollar signs here, so we're going to do it for the ranges first of all, so we can copy and paste the one formula throughout all the blue cells. And we also want to put the dollar signs under, let me just make sure I'm doing this right, it does get a little bit tricky. So we want the purchasing to stay intact, so I'm going to put it on the H, and we want Q1 to stay intact, so I will put it on the 30. So let's see if that works. So no, it seems that it's not working. Okay, so the reason this is not working is because whenever, unfortunately, every time you update a formula, the array function gets deactivated. So we have to actually go in here and press Control Shift Enter again to reactivate the array function. And now we have to paste it all the way down and to the side again. And you can see that now we have the correct answer, and we managed to keep the green cells blank, which puts us at the advanced level. And that is how you solve for the quarterly purchases by department using the array function. Thank you very much, and please check us out at excelbluecell.com.